So the first presentation is going to be from Map of Life. Map of Life aims to support effective and global biodiversity, education, monitoring, research, and decision-making by assembling and integrating a wide range of knowledge about species distributions and their dynamics over time.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, judges. So let's talk about biodiversity. So to sort of Dale's point, we are in a biodiversity crisis. We only have a few years before the planet goes, and I think biodiversity is one of those very important elements. They're key to all sorts of things, whether it's climate resilience, whether it's food, whether it's medicine. Biodiversity is essential to our resilience as a planet. And one of the most important things about biodiversity is our ability to understand what's going on in the world. And species, animals, plants, and so on, they're the key to understanding what biodiversity is all about. So 15 years ago, the science team at Yale, at the Yale Center for Biodiversity and Global Change, have started doing research on what it would take to understand biodiversity. And that started out with understanding species first, understanding what it would take to really map out biodiversity on a global scale. So we started that work about 15 years ago. We launched what's called the Map of Life, which is this ability to understand species distribution in the entire world at a 1 square kilometer resolution. Anywhere in the world, you can look up a particular area and you can find exactly the number of species that are there. And why do I keep harping on species? Because I think species are critical to understanding exactly what's going on with biodiversity health. And biodiversity health is important to preserve, as we talked about earlier, but it's also important for governments, for corporations, for companies, as frameworks are emerging, and as we understand and see the importance of preserving biodiversity, these companies and these governments and these organizations are being mandated to comply with these biodiversity frameworks. So understanding species is understanding exactly what's going on with biodiversity, and we're able to tell biodiversity health increasing, decreasing, all sorts of things about it. So in November 2024, after a 5-year-long competition, we were one of the winners of the X Prize competition, which was this really X Prize Rainforest competition, which was this, we developed this really unique way of being able to collect biodiversity data almost semi-autonomously, be able to collect acoustic data, collect eDNA data, collect high-resolution imagery, and get a really fast assessment, fast and cost-effective assessment of the state of biodiversity, and be able to plug that in with all the work and research that we've done at Yale. And around January 2025, we launched the venture Map of Life Solutions, which is a Yale venture, and that's the one I'm here pitching today. Our capabilities, we're bringing the best research, best science, and ground operation, and we're piecing all of these together. We managed to develop all of these indicators, these global biodiversity framework adopted indicators that all originate from species. Those indicators allow us to understand species distribution, the habitat of species, allows us to understand the level of depth of information that we have about species, and we can piece all that together to align with frameworks such as TNFD and CSRD and so on, and give companies and organizations a really good view on the state of biodiversity and how they align with that. And certainly for companies that biodiversity poses a risk for them, we can give them a very accurate view on what's going on with the forest and with ecosystems. The team is led by many great folks that come from a long history of doing biodiversity monitoring and biodiversity intelligence. The backbone is the great folks at the Yale Center for Biodiversity and Global Change for the science capabilities that we've talked about. And we're able to do all sorts of things, whether it's from species level modeling to data integration to analysis and metrics to reporting, really the full gamut of information that's available that we can really originate from just having the presence of species. You can see just a quick view of the level of depth of information. Biodiversity information is siloed, is often locked away in different systems. We're able to bring all of that together. We're able to standardize that in a really unique way and bring that all together. So really, when we get to the final piece where we collect data from the ground, we've already exhausted all the information that's available out there in terms of biodiversity data that's available. I'll stop right here and answer some questions.
I think we had a question from Lillian. Thank you. That was a great presentation.
Yeah. I just want to make a quick note. This was not the presentation that we sent, but it's all good.
Even better job.
Happy to answer any questions, please.
Thank you for your presentation.
Of course.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about your customers. Who are your target customers, and what is your value proposition to them?
Yeah, so the target customer, so Map of Life Core, we've made that available free and open, and that essentially targeting all researchers and scientists, people that are doing work on the ground. I think it offers a really good upgrade and a segue to our SaaS platform, Map of Life Pro, which is really targeted towards corporations, governments, and any project developers, any entities that are doing biodiversity work or compliance with frameworks. Our value proposition is in our ability and the technology that we've built out, and not only being able to predict biodiversity before stepping foot in the forest, which is very important because otherwise it would be very expensive to go in and collect data and do all these prerequisite things in advance. So we have the capability in really providing a lot of information in advance and then pinpoint exactly where additional data is required. And I think that's the unique value proposition that we offer as compared to anybody else that's doing it.
I guess a follow-on question to that. Who are your biggest competitors, and how are you differentiated from them?
Sure. I think the biggest competitors are often ones that are focused on a very particular type of biodiversity data collection. So for example, there's a really big competitor out of the UK that's focused primarily on eDNA data collection, and that's how they understand biodiversity. Others focus, for example, only on acoustics and things like that. I think what we're doing, what differentiates us, is that our ability to do all types of data collection together. So the technology and the way we developed and the XPRIZE work that we did through the XPRIZE competition allowed us to use UAV drone-based missions to collect acoustic data, camera trap data, which is another collection methodology, and eDNA. So being able to get all three of them and take a look at all the benefits of one and compensate it with the benefits of the other, I think that's what sets us apart from the other competition that's out there.
All right. Thank you to Map of Life.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation.